Judge gives lenient sentences so trucker can dodge deportation after fatal Ontario crash. That's not a consequence. They get to stay in our country. Guests in our country have to abide by the rule of law. The rule of law is part of our national identity. Can she just say that she'll go to the Justice Minister and saying, we're getting roasted on this, and rightly so. We need to close this loophole.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I have said that serious crimes deserve serious consequences. CBSA has deported, as the Public Safety Minister said today, 23,000 people. There is nothing in the immigration law that allows for discounting sentences. Sentences must be proportionate to the crime and the context. And as I said, what
that translates to blah, blah, blah. Another raper stays in Canada. Blah, blah, blah. Another thief stays in Canada. Blah, blah, blah. Another extortionist stays in Canada. We have to, this is integral to Canadian national identity. They have to respect the rule of law. And what the Liberals are saying is that guests in our country, if they commit a serious crime, can stay here because they refuse to close this loophole that is being exploited by a woke judiciary. Will they do the right thing and finally close it?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Public safety is our top priority. In fact, I was a Justice Minister provincially in 2013. I understand that more than anyone else. We have multiple crime bills before us in this House that party and that member has been obstructing since we have come here. We are investing in law enforcement, and our priority is to ensure Canadians are kept safe.
Member.
I'm glad that she talked about another justice bill. Bill C-16 renders all mandatory minimum penalties meaningless. And that will mean that this problem of giving sweetheart sentences to non-citizens convicted of serious crimes will only get worse. Will the minister go to the Justice Minister and recommend an amendment to Bill C-16 that will not juice this problem of judges giving lenient sentences to non-citizens convicted of serious crime, like the Strangler my colleague just talked about, to ensure that they don't get to stay and have the privilege of staying in our country and are deported like they should be?
The Honourable Minister, this will be the final answer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Really appreciate this discussion here tonight, because it's really important. It affects a lot of people. We take that very seriously. Criminals, whether they're Canadians, visitors, whatever their status is in Canada, will be held responsible by the law. Courts do their best. If they're non-Canadians, CBSA investigates. Our priority is to always protect Canadians.
He claims that, yet it's still happening over and over again. A non-citizen was found guilty of assault, then broke his no-contact order, and yet he was still given a lenient sentence to avoid deportation. Can you tell his victim why he is still in Canada? Through you.
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, serious criminals face serious consequences.
Honourable Member.
Well, this non-citizen didn't face serious consequences. He was caught trafficking cocaine and was given a lenient sentence to what? Avoid deportation. Can the minister tell Canadians, in spite of all of her claims, why he's still in Canada?
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, I'm the Immigration Minister. I'm looking at the Immigration, Refugees and Protection Act and regulations. There's nothing in that document and in those rules that permits what the member is alluding to.
There's nothing to prevent it either, and that's why Conservatives brought in a bill to close this loophole. The minister could have told the Justice Minister to support it, but in fact she voted against it. This is her fault. A non-citizen was convicted of major theft, a crime that carries a punishment of 10 years. Instead of being deported, she received house arrest to avoid deportation. Why should she be allowed to stay in Canada?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Chair, we'd be glad to work with the member if the member would bring a law that is constitutional and within the law. That is not what the member did. Her law that she brought in was unconstitutional. The Supreme Court of Canada had ruled on that over a decade ago that it's not within the Constitution.
The Honourable Member.
A lawyer, she should know that actually what the court ruling said was that there was nothing in the charter that gave people these rights, and my bill was constitutional. So shame on her, she voted against it. A non-citizen spied on his roommates while they used the bathroom. She's sitting here arguing that it's okay for this person to be in Canada, yet he was given a lenient sentence so that he would avoid deportation. Can you tell the victims of this disgusting raper why he's still in Canada?
Well, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The court clearly and unequivocally stated public safety is paramount, and that is exactly what this government is doing. We have hired officers, we are complying with our obligations, and we will continue to do that. There is nothing in our law that offers otherwise.
The honourable member.
Exactly. We need a new law, but she voted against the law that would have prevented this. People who are sitting at home and who are listening to example after example, their lived experience of non-citizens getting sweetheart deals and being able to stay in this country after serious crimes are listening to her drivel and wondering how Canada got this way. So, a non-citizen was sexually assaulted an 18-year-old girl in a nightclub in Calgary and then was given a lenient sentence to avoid deportation. Can she try again? What is she going to tell the victim of this criminal? Why is he still in Canada?
The honourable minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. My role is to manage migration in Canada. We have clear rules. We are working. We've been transparent with Canadians. People who commit serious offences should be treated serious and sentenced, and CBSA investigates and deports.
Honourable member.
But they're not being treated seriously. They're not being deported. Another example, a non-citizen who committed a string of crimes in Calgary pleaded to a lesser crime of assault in order to avoid deportation. Can you tell the victim why this person, through you, Chair, is still in Canada?
The honourable minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Again, as I said, serious criminals deserve serious consequences. Judges are applying the law within the Constitution. The Supreme Court has said public interest is top priority. That is our...
The honourable member.
Where does it say in the Constitution that non-citizens should get more lenient sentence than Canadians in order to avoid deportation?
The honourable minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Again, let's bring it back to immigration and why we're here tonight. CBSA has removed, as the Public Safety Minister said today, 23,000 people last year.
No. It's inconceivable that they voted against a bill to close this loophole, amend the criminal code, to deport non-citizens convicted of serious crime and uphold the law. Another example, a non-citizen caused a deadly crash on Highway 401, then received a lenient sentence in order to avoid deportation. Can the minister tell the victim's family why this person is still in Canada?
The honourable minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. For the benefit of the people listening, this government has brought in many pieces of legislation to protect Canadians, many crime legislation, and that opposition has been obstructing and has obstructed each and every one of them.
The honourable member.
I brought in a law that would have amended the criminal code by one line to say that judges cannot issue lenient sentences in order to help non-citizens avoid deportation. So I'll ask her again. Keep in mind, she's speaking to victims. I'm asking her to speak to victims. And the drivel that she's putting forward, think about that. Think about what these victims are hearing. A non-citizen arranged to have sex with an underage girl and then received a lenient sentence in order to avoid deportation. Does the minister think this person deserves to stay in Canada?
The honourable minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Non-citizens convicted of serious crime are inadmissible, whether the crime happened in Canada, outside Canada. That means they are not allowed to enter or stay in Canada if they're already here. We brought in many pieces of criminal legislation in this House, under this government, under our mandate so far, that the opposition has obstructed each and every way. We've also invested in CBSA officers, RCMP officers. We're hiring many to protect Canadians.
The honourable member.
She has no respect for the victims, no compassion or empathy for them, and frankly, no respect for the rule of law. Otherwise, she would have voted for this bill to stop this process. I'll ask her to have empathy for this victim. A non-citizen caused a crash in British Columbia that killed 2 people. Instead of being deported for this horrible crime, he received a lenient sentence in order to avoid deportation. Can the minister tell the victims' families why this person is still in Canada?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've been clear. I'm very empathetic to all these scenarios. Serious crimes committed by these people deserve serious sentences. CBSA investigates them and they get deported.
Member, last question.
You have to realize here that, the Liberals, they're sitting here mocking this. This is why Canadians have lost faith in immigration. It's because of things like this. All we have to do is pass a one-line change to the criminal code. A non-citizen trucker in Ontario killed a truck driver, another one, and then severely injured a passenger as well. There are real victims to this crime, and this person should have been deported. Why weren't they?
The honourable minister, last response.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm managing migration. I've been very clear throughout the last number of hours. In fact, throughout the last number of months, we have instituted and we are very transparent in what we are doing. Criminals deserve.